Hello and welcome to I Trained You. Right now it's just me, Coach Brandon, Coach Nysear, and maybe Coach Brad. He's out there on the court training, and we're actually working to hopefully get Miles Davis on here. He's super busy. He's a great young man, and so he's a fantastic trainer out here. So all the new and young trainers that are coming up, we want to get them on. Nysear, what are you doing, buddy? You're muted on us, man.
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Listen, you have a great title, head coach of the Berry Middle School. That is great. So how does it feel? Well, I mean, you're excited. Look how you've been glowing for like a week, man. What's
Yeah,
going
no. I mean, I'm just excited to get back on the court. Um,
Well, yeah. So tell me a little bit about your team. What kind of things are you doing this season that's different from last season and all that good stuff?
well, I think my whole approach is different now. In terms of the skills versus drills that I teach and practice. Because as a trainer, it's more teaching a skill than, or it should be more teaching a skill than a drill. And head coaching is more like run this play.
Right.
So I think this year my approach will be a little bit of both. I think it's hard expecting middle schoolers to run, to have a whole playbook, but for them to have, nice sets, nice motion, things we discussed like a flex, things where they can actually move and get open is what I'm gearing towards, and also just helping them better some skills.
It's funny because I opened the show with you on here, and Coach Brad is on. Let me get Coach Brad. Brad, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Brandon?
I mean, you look like you just got out the gym. What's up? Were you shooting some shots? I mean, look, we need Coach Sam. Did Sam go at me last week? I mean, your audio, is his audio?
Yeah, I think you got your finger on the speaker.
Brad, your audio is a little glitchy.
Is my audio messed up, guys?
Say something again. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Yeah, you sound better now.
Yeah, you're coming in much better.
Hey. Okay.
No, it's like you're underwater. Are you a swimming coach or a basketball coach?
Underwater?
You're underwater, baby. You're underwater. All right. Well, hopefully you're back on.
Okay. I'll come out and I'll go back in.
Sure. So let me just go through a little bit about what I Trained You is creating here for our community with Coach Nysear, Coach Brad on a weekly basis. So we believe in a different quality for our children out here and for our professional athletes. Taking a curriculum-based approach, taking an approach where athletes have an opportunity to really evaluate where they are and develop from a skill development perspective, meaning the physical skill sets, the intellectual skill sets, and the emotional skill sets is powerful. And when you have progression training, that's a deeper sense of learning and being able to, like Coach Nysear said, have a cooperative relationship between training and also teamwork is fantastic, because you can't really run a play if the kids don't have the skill sets to be able to execute and deliver whatever it is that you're, trying to work towards. Wow. And so what we teach at I Trained You, and I'm sure Brad teaches this too, is that I look at skill development like a school. And so what do I mean by that? I mean that when you go to class, you then kind of learn a little bit about whatever's happening and what you're trying to accomplish. And then after you do that, then what happens? You have homework. And you don't do homework in the class. You need time to reflect and really develop the skills authentically so that you can come back to class and be able to kind of apply. And I'll talk about that in a second. But then the test is the game. And then when you look at what your subject matter skill sets are, because the creed is become a subject matter expert, be the best version of yourself, and surround yourself with people who inspire you. So what happens is that you can then come back and actually apply. So the three ways that we improve are: number one, skill acquisition, then skill application. So acquiring the skill first. So what is the skill set? How do I physically do it? And how do I get in better condition to do it? And then the next part is skill application. That's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. How do I actually get this skill working in a semi kind of a connected environment? And then finally, team application. And that's where I can have 5-on-5 and apply this new skill set. And it almost become like a developing strength as opposed to always staying a weakness. So there is a science to development. And so what we're here to do is to educate you guys as parents as and players as to what those strategies are, what those steps are, so that you can the most valuable thing, a friend of mine told me, the most valuable thing you have in this world is time. And you don't get that until you're older and later in life. You don't really understand it. When you're young, you've got all the time in the world. But then once you get older and you realize that how you spend the quality of every day is the moments that the world gets to capture in your memory. And so that's a powerful thing. So when you're training and you're working out, you want to be a meaningful specific as opposed to a wandering generality. And most of the kids that are out there, when I see them laughing and they're actually acting up a fool and stuff when they make a mistake because they don't want to really internalize. See, punishment is an opportunity to reflect on what you did wrong so that there can be some, some courage to change. And so we have that leadership component here at I Trained You so that athletes do get a chance to recognize how interacting not just with themselves, but with others creates improvement. And so for you parents out there, as you're evaluating these trainers, I want you to understand that unless a trainer has a comprehensive conversation about what we're talking about here, it doesn't mean that they're bad. What it means is that we have to evolve in terms of either educating them. There's a possibility because we'll help any trainer out here. I can't, Coach Nysear, Coach Brad, we can't see them all. And Coach Brad has his own company, but we collaborate. We're friends, we're family, we're brothers. And are we back? Is this better?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you much better, man. Thank you for whatever you did. So in this collaboration, what we're attempting to do is to really say, look, all of these trainers out here who really, if you want to test me, please be my guest. I mean, Nysear, do you think I would have a problem going up against any trainer?
No.
No. Does that trainer have to come correct?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And I'd rather you just have the kid. It's not that deep for me. And so if a child is trying to choose between one or the other and they haven't been able, if you're looking for the sizzle and you don't understand that if the steak is sizzling, it doesn't mean it's good. Right. And so when you have a great combination of the sizzle in the steak and then the steak is good, man, that is everything in terms of all of this development stuff, because at the end of the day, it's going to take time for it to sink in. So we talk about this, and I'm going to bring on Miles Davis in just a second, but who's an up and coming trainer. But the deal is that you have two types of programming. So you have your conscious mind, which is your central awareness, and you have your subconscious, which is your neural awareness. And habits are formed in your neural awareness, in your subconscious. But your subconscious is stupid. And so what has to happen is you have to drill something over and over and over and be critically intentional on what it is that you're trying to create, and pay attention in basketball, because this goes for life too, to your footwork, your core, your shoulder jukes, and your ball handling, and how all of that is interdependent so that you have an interoperability on the floor to become unlocked. And if you do that, then you can create space vertically, horizontally, and by drawing double and triple teams to create space for others. And if you get just the philosophy of this as parents, for what I'm doing, what Nysear's doing, what Coach Brad is doing, for what Miles is learning how to do, or maybe he's doing it more than I know, then now you have a chance for you as a player or you as a parent to know that the education that your kid is getting is much more important than just the activity of a workout. So, did I miss anything, Brad?
No, I don't think you missed anything. I think
Nysear, did I miss anything?
No.
No? Okay. So I've been doing this for a while. But at the end of the day, what I love is I love young people who are trying to get into space and teach. And I'm telling you, there is some trash out there for trainers. You know, I don't even want to say how I met this gentleman, but not that you have to have played, but you have to be able to talk the game in a non-esoteric way. Like, man, Shorty just needs to he need to get a little stronger, a little faster, and a little leaner. You know, he just lose a little weight, he'll be all right. Oh no, you've heard that before. What does that really mean? Like, what are you saying to me? You know, what kind of skill? What's the distance theory? How far do I need to be away when I break this joker down and get him on his heels? I'll never forget Roy Sparrow played for the Miami Heat at the time when I was playing for the Hurricanes. He came up to me and he said, Brandon, your goal is to rock the defender back on their heels. So you got to show an attack and then retreat and negotiate the space a little bit and then be willing to re-enter the drive called a redrive. And then as soon as he converts from the step slide to the run defense, that he didn't call it a snatchback, but that's when you're able to bring the ball back, and now you can get a shot off against a more athletic player because you've negated their athleticism. And I said, amen. I learned something from that. So we're not out here learning from these trainers. They're just going on YouTube and Instagram, and they're finding some drills. So I'm not saying that you have to have my pedigree or your pedigree. I mean, Nysear, you played high school basketball, so, you know, that's no knock. But at the end of the day, what you did, Nysear, is you decided to level up. You do know that you know more than 90% of these Division I former players, NBA athletes, because they just played. But the way that you have taken on the I Trained You education, you already know that you can go toe to toe, even if you can't demonstrate or play that way. You know now how to teach that way. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Does that feel different?
Yeah, it does. I mean,
How to feel different? I mean, what do you think? Like, where were you before I trained you in terms of your? Did you think you knew basketball?
I mean,
that's the real
I
question.
wouldn't say I knew that I loved basketball. I knew that, but I also knew that there were things I didn't understand.
So how has I Trained You filled in those gaps?
And I mean, I've said this before, like it turned it into a science for me. So people may not know, but I'm a little bit of a nerd.
What? I know. Hello. Nerds know nerds, baby. See, Brad is too cool. Brad is cool. Brad is recognized. I recognize a nerd. Hold on a second. There's a nerd right there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I recognize another nerd. I'm just joking. Let me bring on Miles Davis. Miles, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
I'm glad you got it together, man. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
So I want to introduce everybody. So Miles's father had kindly reached out to me after my mother's passing and then told me, you know, because it reminded me that I worked with either you or your brother when you were young.
Yep.
And
Yep, I was agreeing with you. Yep.
And so then he was like, I need to kind of connect you guys. And then ironically enough, I'm not going to tell you the name of the kid, but I get a call from on another work. I do multiple things for work, but I'm talking to this family. And so then at the end of the conversation was totally not related to basketball. They say, yeah, you know, and Brandon is not just a coach in this industry, but Brandon is also a basketball trainer and coach. And the father says, oh my God, my son plays for Landon. He's 15, he's a freshman. And I said, well, do you know Miles Davis? He said, yes, I know Miles Davis. And so it was just crazy. I'll tell you offline who it is, but it was just crazy how, anyway, how connected this world is. So I'll introduce you to Nysear Byrd. So Nysear Byrd is a junior trainer in our program, studying to be a senior trainer. He's a great coach. There's not too many people I trust with my children. I do trust Nysear wholeheartedly with my kids. And so he's a great person to be around, to learn from. And in about 6 months, he'll be dunking on you. Nysear might be the oldest rookie in the NBA.
Oldest rookie.
Trained you. You walking there with a cane. We can do this, y'all. We can pass the ball. Why y'all not passing? Where'd y'all go? Anyway, Coach Brad, this is Miles. Coach Brad, I don't know if you guys have already interacted with each other, but Brad is a historian of basketball. Like, if you want basketball knowledge, if you want to know who the people are, where the people went, and how they got there, this is your tour guide. And so you need to lean on these two young brothers and in your journey, really try to find out as much as you can about how they're lasting in this game and being relevant as you're starting your journey with your new company, Love for Hoops. And so Miles is working on with a couple of his business partners, building a brand. And so really, you being on the show, you'll be able to use this as an opportunity for you to kind of let people know who you are without you giving a sales pitch, right? Because when you're just talking to people, hey, I can do this, hey, I can do that.
Right.
You may not have all the buzzwords down or whatever else because you're trying to really make that great impression. Right. You want to get to the other side of that, which is kind of where Brad is and I am. Nysear's not there yet, but I don't really care, what a parent thinks. After I explain to them what my curriculum is all about, they're still not going to understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, it's really more like swimming. You need to jump in the water to really understand what I offer. And so, Brad, you and I both know this. Like, sometimes you can watch a training and see a kid that's working out, and then you'll judge me as a trainer and be like, that ain't nothing. But guess what? This is progression training that we offer. So you're catching drills and skills based on where that athlete is in the curriculum. You're not catching me in my best moment. Come see me with a player that I've had for 7 years. Huh? What'd you say, Brad? Okay. Come catch me like I was talking to one of my WNBA players today who started when she was 14. Well, you're having technical difficulties too, Brad. What happened over there? Did you throw your phone in some water by accident?
It's me.
You need to put some right. You need to put your phone in some right.
Brandon,
come on, man. I can't. Look, we're going to have a lip reader on next year. We're going to have a lip reader right up there, a little circle right up there, because, Brad, we don't know what you're talking about.
I can't hear you, man.
I know what he's saying. He's saying Brandon was the greatest basketball player that ever lived. If he didn't get hurt in elementary school, he was better than Jordan. Him being an All-American and just making it Miami was just the tip of the iceberg at that point. Everything below the ice. Is that what you're saying, Brad? Okay, he's going, all right. So Brad just said, I'm out. So, Miles, tell us a little bit about, Brad will be back on in a second, but tell us a little bit about your background and why somebody would want to train at Love for Hoops. Go.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit about my background. I graduated Landon class of 2018. After Landon, I went to play at Proctor Academy, Lakes region. So that's the same. We played Brewster, Tilton, New Hampton, a lot of good New England prep schools as well. After Proctor, I went on to play at St. Lawrence. Unfortunately, got a season taken away from COVID, but was able to maximize the 3 that I had. We ended up making the tournament our last year. And so just throughout that journey in general, really learning what it takes to win, the attention to detail, the intentionality it takes in every single rep and every single day, to ultimately culminate in wins. Learning that process of a daily intentionality to what you're doing into the process and things like that. It's something I really grew throughout my college process, and I'm now taking with me into my coaching phase as well over the past year. I was blessed with the opportunity to start at Landon with their varsity team last year. Thanks to Coach Larry Franklin, who was my assistant at Landon. Got the interim job, so he's given me a great opportunity to learn. Really what coaching is about. Like, it's been a really great journey. Kind of learning to meet the player where they're at, really teaching through questions, figuring out what they know, their understanding of things, and getting them to see the understanding that the team needs, and things like that. It's been a really good process. So, definitely learning that it's a process. Like you said, it's a very progressive thing, where one day you're going to have to drill the same drill over and over again on air, and then you're going to have to put some defense in front of them, and then you're going to have to put them in a situation where they have to make a decision, and developing decision-making processes as well. Those are all really, really good things that I've learned on the coaching end, that I've been able to carry with me from my player side as well. So it's been a really good journey. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of middle school athletes as well, and their journeys as well. So learning footwork, all the fundamental things that it's going to take to be a really good basketball player. Teaching them how to play the game, because only realistically 5% of the time the ball is going to be in your hand or less. So teaching them more general concepts about the game of basketball, and philosophies behind why we do the things on the court that we do, and providing that understanding has been something that's been really helpful for the players in my coaching journey. So yeah, it's been awesome.
I know you have a partnership with a group of you guys. I think it's 4 of you guys that are working together.
Yep, it's 3 of us. Yep.
3 of you guys. I'm sorry. So looking at your journey, right, as a player, and that's parents look at that like, all right, well, where did you play?
Right.
So, and then the second thing they look at is, can you still play?
Right.
I can't play anymore, right? So I can't really demonstrate what I used to be able to do. That's not important. So I have to have the right quality of communication
Right.
to appeal to the intellect as opposed to the visual, right?
Right.
So what is it that you're going up against me? It's down to 3 of us. I trained you pinchback basketball player development, and then love for hoops. Why does a player, what are you going to say to a parent that is different? And I'm doing this purposely because I'm mentoring you a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it.
Right. So what are you going to say as your differential advantage going against someone like myself with my pedigree, All-American, played on the #1 team in the country, played at Miami, trained NBA players, trained WNBA players, trained top college players in the country, and then you're now getting started. Brad, aren't you a Hall of Famer? Right. You got it. Are you okay? He over there. I'm sorry. Let me speak for him. Yes, Brad is a Hall of basketball player, and like he's a legend, in high school and college. And Brad, did you play overseas at all? Did you play overseas?
No, I did not.
Right. So
No, I didn't.
So how do you go up against, like, so you don't know me, you don't know Brad, but I'm saying you know us here, but I want the families to understand that when we share our pedigree, as you talk about this, like, how do you articulate, give Miles and Love for Hoops a chance? Because that's what all of us are going through, right, Nysear, when, these parents are trying to choose where they're going to spend their dollars and who's going to actually mentor, and in the boys' case, raise their, boys to be men, not only on the court, but off the court. And if they're young ladies, mentor them to be the highest possibility of self-esteem, self-worth. And I can't teach a young girl how to become a young lady, but I can certainly mentor and point them in the right direction of people who can do that. So go.
Absolutely. So with love for hoops, the great thing about having three of us is, and the good thing about it is all three of us played at three different levels. So I played at a Division III level, was able to be successful there. My partner, Joe McDonald, played at GW for 4 years, won the NIT while he was there, was able to make NCAA tournament berth, 2 All-Met selections, was All-American himself as well. And then the third partner, Cyrus House, was a great high school basketball player. And now he's been working with youth sports over the past 10 years, kind of as he graduated out of college as well. So having three different perspectives, three different approaches to your development, we all take the time to really have those conversations, to analyze players, meet them where they're at, and kind of put a plan together to get them where they need to be. And, you know, I think one of the biggest things that's a positive for us is our patience. You know, since we do work with a lot of younger athletes, getting them to understand that, you know, they have a lot of time to develop. So really, really, really honing in on the fundamentals and things like that is really crucial for their ability to be able to survive at the next level and be successful as well. So we definitely take the time to understand our athletes. We have three very unique perspectives to training. I think one of the good things is we all really do love basketball. You know, granted the name, but
Yeah.
all three of us really don't mind being in the gym and really helping out. We just wrapped up a training session actually with two brothers, and all three of us were able to be involved and provide our feedback and play dummy defense and do things like that, where we're able to not just kind of have them imagine the situation, but actually put them physically in the situation where they now have to make a decision, and they don't necessarily have everything kind of pre-planned, where they could apply the skills that they're learning and make them in real game scenarios. So yeah, we have a really good approach with our intentionality to each player, really analyzing their strengths and weaknesses. Joe was a point guard, so he has the intellect kind of a point guard to know every spot on the floor where people are supposed to be, kind of seeing the play ahead of the play. I played on the wing, so I was more of a scorer, learning how to be efficient with your dribble, how to learn how to catch and shoot, how to score within 2 or 3 dribbles, create advantages, and then create opportunities for your teammates. And then Cyrus himself was kind of just like an all-around player. And he helps a lot with not only like tangible things on the court, but a lot of the intangibles as well, where we're able to holistically develop an athlete, not necessarily just on the court, but more so as a human being. Also recognizing that there's a lot of opportunities outside of just on the court with basketball. And we have a lot of connections in those worlds. So, you know, college athletics, the Go-Go, the Wizards, different strength and conditioning roles, marketing roles, a lot of things that still contribute to the success of a basketball operation, without necessarily the on-court piece. So that's something that we really wanted to tap into, because we recognize that not everybody is going to have the chance to play in college or even play at a high level in high school. But there are a lot of kids that still have that same love for basketball, that don't necessarily have an outlet for it. And that's something that we're looking to provide for all of our athletes, where, you know, they're able to get that on the court development, and feel like they have somebody being patient with their development, meeting them where they're at and developing their skill set within their own capabilities, but also providing other avenues to be successful in the world of basketball itself. So I think that's something that's really unique about our approach. And I really look forward to kind of fleshing that out over the long term. And obviously building connections like these are really meaningful. And kind of just everything that, I mean, basketball is connected us for. And just like a lot of the connections that I've made in life are through basketball. So really kind of taking a very holistic approach to basketball, more so than just on the court. Really understanding the relationships you could build, the connections you could build, the careers you could build, you know, with the little orange basketball, that don't just involve being a great player on the court. So we have a lot of different avenues for a lot of different people. On the court, we have all the expertise needed to take someone to the next level. And then off the court, we have a lot of the connections and things to help people off the court as well. So we have a lot of different ways we can help our athletes.
Okay. Well, number one, I can imagine you did very well in college because that was very well said.
Appreciate that.
Should be proud of all of the education he paid for at Landon.
Yeah. We got to pay off somehow.
Jesus. I mean, I sat over there, I had a violin going, and I said, this guy's good. Let me sign. I mean, I'll be the oldest rookie. It won't be this year. Get out on the court. Get this bum leg going again. Come on, Miles. Get me working. Look, you touched on a lot of wonderful key things. Brad, what are your thoughts on, you got 3 approaches, and that's fine, right? Like with our system, Brad pretty much is solo, but with our system this year, we have a closed system. It's not open, right? So, yours is like, look, you may teach a triple threat different than the way Joe teaches a triple threat. Cyrus, I think, is the other gentleman's name, the way he teaches a triple threat. So you got 3 different triple threats. Like in the program, we have 6. And so Nysear and I operate within those 6. And so that's where we focus so that there's one deliverable in terms of a message to kids. And when I was coming up, and Brad, I know when you were coming up, we go to like 5-star and, Bill Cronauer's camp and all the rest of that stuff. And they would say, you got all of these great coaches here. So you're going to see 10 different triple threats in terms of approaches. And so for me personally, Brad, I don't know about you, after about the 3rd or 4th different triple threat, I was kind of confused, like, which one do I go with? So what I like is that you 3 are actually working together. So even though you're saying it maybe a little bit differently, you're actually addressing the kid and not leaving them out there to figure it out on their own. That's what I heard from what you were saying. Did you guys get that same thing, Brad?
Well, and addressing the different triple threats and like any different technique, I have to go back to, it helps that I have the relationship that I do with the different coaches in the area. And I can pick up the phone and say, look, how do you want this kid to do this?
Yeah.
How do you want to teach that? Because it's always going to be different techniques, different footworks. I mean, I was recently working with a D1 player. I'm not gonna go through who they are because I don't want to get them in trouble because I don't think they were supposed to be vacation.
Hold on. They're currently playing Division I college basketball right now.
College basketball.
And on the East Coast or on the West Coast?
Not you almost
got you. Which are they in?
We're not going there. I'm going to tell you that when they let's take for example, you're driving to your left. All right. How do you stop? Right, left, or left, right? To get into your pull-up.
Left. I'm stopping right, left.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stopping right, left. Well, okay. And that's the way I was taught to do that. Okay. Well, this particular player was taught differently. So I had to adjust to that. I can't have them, trying to just do it their way when the coach wants them to do it another way.
Can I stop you there for a second, Brad?
Sure.
So, and I think, Miles, Nysear, Brad, that I am one of the more knowledgeable coaches in the country. and
Mm-hmm.
not just from a skill development side, but I think as a coach, we
Mm-hmm.
inherit players. Like, we're working with our players and we're building them up, right, Nysear? But at the end of the day, if they have talent, they have talent, and we can talent and we can build their skill. But if they have no talent, then really sometimes doesn't matter, right? So we have to kind of get in where we fit in. So what I think that some coaches kind of teach or coach based on what their personal experience was for the game. So if you were a big man and you're talking to a guard, you may not be able to relate to that guard because you didn't play that position. And so you aren't aware, just like you said, Miles, about, you have a point guard, you were a scoring guard, you have an all around player, so if you haven't had that exposure, you might not have recognized that driving to the left and going right left is the more efficient and effective way to be able to lift into a shot, to be
Yeah.
able to stop, to be able to go into a step back, or we call it a pocket, but a pull back into the movement. Like, so why would you, just out of curiosity, double down on something that you don't teach? Why wouldn't you teach something that might be ubiquitous to that athlete one day being in the NBA? Go ahead.
I get that. I teach it that way. I believe just as you do that going to your left, yeah, it's right, left. But I actually know one of the coaches on staff, and they told me to teach it the other way because that particular coach is not backing down on that.
No,
So,
no, no. I agree. And I agree you do it that coach's way, because
right.
that creates a win-win for you and the coach, the player and the coach, and the
Mhm.
player, right? So everybody wins in that situation. But in the long run, that you're going to have some reprogramming to do.
Absolutely. At some point.
At some point, you're going to have some reprogramming to do, because what happens is that muscle memory that's being developed limits the future of the transitional movement into other things. I mean, we break it down, Miles, as in freestyle, which is your lateral movements. Your linear movements are called initial attacks, and you have moves on the move, and then finishing moves. And so what we're talking about here is driving to the left. That would be a move on the move, lift for a finishing move, or go into another move on the move, which, like we said, would be a step back or a step over. And you can't do that stopping left, right.
Nope.
Just can't. Right. You just
Nope.
so you
Oh, I agree. I hear everything you're saying.
you
And
have to train the muscle memory of left, right, so the kid gets it. What's the name again? It's bad audio, but I think you said his name was Eddie. No. So I agree wholeheartedly.
you're very good.
Huh? I'm very good. I almost got it. I almost got Chris's name out you.
No.
Man, I mean, what is it like for him playing in the Colonial Conference? Man, I cloned your phone. I know who you talk to. So anyway,
What?
so Miles, the growth of what you guys are doing. One of the things, Brad and Nysear, that I think the three of us go through is duplicating our efforts, right? And then also finding the resources, which would be the gym, right? The
Right.
gym time is critical. To own that gym time is like owning a piece of real estate or owning gold. And it sounds like you guys have Landon as the opportunity to have that resource. Are there other facilities that you use?
Yeah. So we're actually primarily at the Lowell School.
Okay.
So we use Landon, mostly for like weekend things, but during the week we're mostly at Lowell. And they have a pretty nice gym up there.
Yeah. No, I coached my kids there because Nysear do it last year, and that was actually February 8th of this year. We were there. That was the last game my mother saw my kids play in before, Anyway, so the deal is that as we try to grow our brand, right? Like Brad, Nysear, this is for you guys. How do you feel like the brand grows, Nysear, to be able to get to other facilities and build those relationships? Are they one-offs, or do you, like what can parents count on with you? Are you going to have a gym always, or do you need parents to kind of be negotiable?
I mean, for myself, I want to make the connection, and I think I do have that connection to be in kind of a stationary gym, so parents aren't always wondering like, why is this person like all over the place? Like, why aren't they in, one or two set spaces? It could be 1 to 3 set spaces, but like, why are we always moving around? Because then they're going to start wondering, like, can this person even get a gym to train my child?
Yeah.
Or are we going to be bouncing all over Maryland?
So I'm gonna tell a story, and Brad, I want to get your feedback on this because I'm gonna tell a story. I was training a young, who's on board with there. But when we get to the gym, I didn't know that they had reserved the court for pickleball. Miles, pickleball, love for pickleball and not love for hoops. Y'all over here playing games and stuff. You miss an opportunity. There's a lot of older people that
doors open.
Doors open, right? Yeah. But so I took her on the racquetball court, and the father was in his feelings about it, right? And I love the dude. I don't care. Like, your daughter has to learn how to dribble too. And if we spend an hour working on muscle memory with ball handling, we can get a good hour, not like being distracted with a missed shot. And then you chase the ball and that takes 15 seconds to get back. And then you miss another shot and it takes 12. And I'm over here running after the daggone basketball. Like, they're still effective. We can really isolate that time. And so it reminded me because he wanted to get back on the schedule, right? And I'm cool, of course, but he wanted to chit chat about that. And I didn't give him any feedback. I hope he's watching because I could give him some feedback because her handles are better than his. Anyway, but my point is that the gym is a prime real estate, and you have to, Nysear, be able to show that stability because the kid needs that, you need that, and so the parents need that as well. Brad, what are your thoughts? How have you dealt with that in the past?
I like having a facility that you can go to the majority of the time. But what I found in this business is you definitely have to have a backup facility because you never know what could happen. And you negotiate these facilities down to a comfortable price for you and your business. Well, look, they're in business to make money too with these facilities. So I've told them, I said, look, anytime I have to be bumped, just do it, but just let me know so that I can go to an alternate facility and still get my training in. And, fortunately for me, I have that alternate facility, which is inside of a home. But primarily, these days I've been training out of Red Line Athletics in Kensington. So that's my main facility. And I know you've been at your facility forever, so you have a great relationship with your facility. And
I'm at One Life, Miles.
Okay.
Sarah and I are at One Life and at the Berry School.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the head coach of the Berry School on the varsity and stuff. And so Nysear is a tremendous assistant coach and he's a tremendous head coach. And I'm excited for what he does for our middle school. So, yeah, no, I agree with you, Brad. One of the things, Miles, that we like to do, and it's always crazy how fast this hour goes. I try to keep it to an hour. We had a good friend of mine on last week, and all he did was talk about Brad. He didn't let me go, did he?
No, he didn't. No.
He caught a tiger by the toe. I was hollering. Let me go, please, man.
About all American.
Oh man, he was all ABC.
All ABC.
Don't be using my stuff, Brad. It was all ABC, okay? Baby basketball player Sam Hughes. So we like to watch and break down some game film a little bit before we go. And so we'd like for you to join us with that.
Yes,
Tell
absolutely.
us what you see, and then we talk about what we see. Because with these NBA players, what we have that's a little bit unique is we have something called virtual IQ training. So I wrote a book, and so the book matches with the intelligent quotient of these NBA players and how fast they recognize patterns and apply the highest possibility of skill set in those patterns, and how they either anticipate the pattern about to happen or instantly respond to the pattern when it presents itself. And sometimes the third way is they force the pattern. And so that's a powerful tool. So we just like to chop it up a little bit and, grab a player. And I think we were messing around with Steph Curry. Were we messing around with Steph last week? Is that who
Steph, we did Luca one week. We did James Harden 1 week. Actually, Nysear will probably be able to tell you differently because you haven't missed anything, have you?
No, I haven't. We did everybody you said. I think we did Kyrie too.
Who you want?
That's right.
Who are we doing today, guys? Y'all want to do Shy?
Yeah.
And I like him. I don't think that he doesn't play like super athletic. Out on the floor, he's very smooth.
Right.
But it works. And that's what I want our kids to understand, that we want you to be, the best athlete that you possibly can be. But sometimes, you're just not going to be more athletic than someone else. And that's okay. So, you got to just kind of get in where you fit in. So let's see here if I can bring the screen up. Just 1 second, gentlemen. All right. Can everybody see?
Yep.
All right. So we're trying to take a look. Let me slow this down. So we'll do this for about 5 or 6 minutes. It's already on there. Okay. That might be too slow. All right. So one of the things we want to understand is how space is created. So, what do you see here, Nysear?
Right now, I see he has a line attack with a potential for help, so he could dish it off if he attacks. But I know he's not going to do that.
He's going to finish it on his own. What would you be seeing right now, Brad? What would you want to see?
All right, the kid is a mid-range killer. Shot range right now, and nobody's within 6 feet of him, 8 feet of him. Now, if that changes, I can see him making a play. But he's got a shot right now. Like, he picks up this dribble, he's at the elbow. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no.
Shy's in the corner.
Yeah, Shy's in the corner. You're talking about number 8. Number 8. I don't think number 8 has the ball. He actually passed the shot.
All right, man. Well, I got to put my reading glasses on.
I do know that. I do know that. We're patient because the family
is 240. But All right, so Shy's in the corner, right?
Yeah.
All right. And is this guy a playmaker, or is he what kind of, you know who number 8 is?
Is Shy a playmaker?
I think number 8. He's an all around player, 3-level scorer, plays defense, does it all.
You're talking about Shy.
No, you asked about number 8, right? You asked was he a playmaker? Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm talking about number 8.
All right. So a lot's going to depend on how that defense converges on him. Like he could end up dumping that ball off to the guy in the dunk spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Short corner.
Yep.
You say, and that could be a situation. If the guy guarding the shooter on the right wing,
yep,
is that supposed to be Shy on the right wing? I can't tell.
You talking about number 34 over here on the other side?
No, that's not Shy. All right.
No, Shy is down on the left, on the bottom left of the screen with the headband.
Okay. Now, if this guy slides over, that's going to be a wide open three.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if this defender slides over, I don't know that he's going to do that if 34 is a known shooter. I think he might stay. So, I mean, put it like this. This should be a basket. Like, they should get a great look at the basket no matter what happens here.
They got 2 seconds left on the clock.
They should still get a great look at the basket.
So, Miles, what do you see?
2 seconds. I see you're probably not going to have enough time to complete a baseline drive, and
right.
The quickest pass is going to be that dump off. I don't think you'll have time to skip it to that wing if the helper situation comes.
Right.
So I could see Shy driving baseline. There's not too much room there, but like you said, he could shoot the mid range.
Yep.
And he could just shoot right over top of people. So I think put pressure on him downhill, open up his hips, and kind of just rise up right above him. Take advantage of the player committing on that on the drive.
So I think with 2 seconds, he has enough time to get a shot off. He's got a dribble 2 steps that he can release with, but it's almost 3 seconds. Whatever. I mean, it's really scientifically paying attention to that much time. But I think that what he does do is try to get this defender off of this line attack baseline to the basket to rotate his core and go from the step slide to the run defense. If he does that, then he's got a quick step back that he can get into the shot while the defender recalibrates. So that's kind of what I would think, especially because I agree with Brad. He's such a good mid-range player. Like, he can knock that down. Let's see what he does. Okay. So similar to what we're saying, he gets the defender to cross his feet.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's no longer athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And this falls in line with natural law number 2, which is the hands are down of the defender. You'll always reach your shot pocket before the defender can contest or block the shot. And there you have it.
Yeah, that's over.
All right. So what you got, Nysear?
I think he's test reading right here. He has a triangle also, which could turn into a diamond if Jokic slides over.
Yep.
So what he should do is, as he did, he's going to test read to see what the defense does, and he can work from there.
And the other thing is that you see he tried to start his acceleration from, here to here. That's where the beginning of this slow to fast test read.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he gets to figure out, does he attack the weak side of the triangle, which would be to the left side, Miles, or does he go to the strong side? Obviously he would want to go to the weak side if he possibly could, if he's going to be in a point guard mode, so he could get that paint touch and then get those 3 defenders to overcommit to guarding the ball, and then his kickouts would be much stronger. If he goes to the strong side of the triangle, which would be to the right, then because there's so many of them, it's almost creating a zone-like atmosphere, so they would be able to recover much easier. So if he's being just a dynamic offensive threat for himself, then, whichever side he goes to, if he gets in front of the defender and cuts off their line of recovery, then, his negotiation to the basket is pretty much, he's hard to stop. Brad, what do you see? Do you see something similar?
Do this for me. Can you show the next dribble? I want to see exactly what he does with this next dribble. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now we get a
Oh,
little bit.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And you get a little bit more clearer indication of intention. Oh, yeah.
That was different.
And see, that's what he does. I need to watch this guy more because, I see the highlights. I've seen bits and pieces of the games, but, when they're playing games, a lot of times I'm coming back home from the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I've missed a lot. But, this is against a great team, Denver. And this guy's lost.
Well, I like how on the spin move, he actually doesn't Nysear test the defense's protection line. Do you see?
Yeah.
He actually gets away from it. And so the defender is really waiting for it. Like he attacks the DPL right here, then he lets it go. And so the defense is like, okay, wait, where is he going with this?
Mm-hmm.
And it allows him to make the defense lunge forward, which obviously shortens, your jumping ability in terms of how much vertical height you can get on your jump. So fantastic job from Shai.
No, I think it was a great decision. If Joker takes one step further over to the right, now you got to dunk.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Did you see the guy in?
Yeah,
on the right?
on the right side. Yeah.
Yeah, but he makes a great decision because Joker didn't come far enough over. So, that's a great decision, great shot. That's well within his skill set. And it just goes to show to me, this game is never going to lose that mid range.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that level of scoring to be consistent night in and night out. So that's my opinion.
Brad, we have practice tomorrow at 4:00.
At 4?
Yeah, 4 to 6. And you had committed to being our assistant coach, and you haven't shown up for practice. We need to talk about your activity.
I'll tell you what, Brandon.
It's my word against yours. It's my word against yours. I would never tell a lie.
What did you say?
I would never tell a lie. It's my word against yours. You said you were going to be there.
No. I'll tell you this.
Oh God, what?
For some reason, during that time slot opens up for me, I am happy to drive over to Berry School. Okay. And
that's like winning the game for us at Berry.
Hold on. I am going to tell you this. The old AD, Dan, was going to offer me that job many years ago.
And he made a mistake.
No,
because he didn't offer it.
All I'm saying
Berry
is
would have been a national program.
He did, but I was going through some things. I had gone through a few deaths close to me at that time, and I just told Dan, I said, I'm not ready to make a decision on this. And, because I had been on that staff before.
Okay.
Berry School. And
did you know that?
Brandon, we won back then. So
I know. Trying to bring the old glory back.
Yeah, we trying to put some banners back in there, man.
No pressure, but I will tell you this. Before I leave, Brandon, I'm a jazz head, man. And this dude's name is Miles Davis. And I've been bugging the whole day.
Yeah, I was too, though. I'm like, Miles Davis.
You guys grow up. You guys are really basketball players. Has he not heard that all his life? And you have
I know he has.
I'm used to it. I'm all good. At least I'll play the trumpet. I'll make it a little worse. So.
Go ahead and ask him, is he a musician as well? You like it right now. What instrument?
One more question. I got one more question. Miles.
Yep.
Do you know the history involved in my last name?
I do not.
All right, that's some research for the
Yep,
next show.
definitely
Some
gonna do
research.
the research.
All right, guys.
This
That's a
historian.
great show for you guys. Thank you, Miles.
Thank you so much
for coming on and being a part of our crew. You're more than welcome anytime to come back. This is
I
about
appreciate
your
it.
journey, sharing it so parents will get the chance to know you, because a lot of times, you know, they're just kind of jumping in the water and they don't really know what they get, and then they commit and all the rest of that stuff. But now they get to understand who you are, how you think. And that's a big part of your journey and your development. So thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Next week is on. I'll see you later.
Right.
Brett, can you get on like beforehand so we could do a test of your mic? I mean, no,
Hey.
I'm not even joking. You're live right now. Is it possible that we could test your microphone and make sure all the technical difficulties?
Brandon.
Yes, bam.
All you have to do,
I'm listening,
is send it to my cell phone and not my iPad. We have never had a problem when you send it to my cell phone. My iPad, put it to you like this. I bought it into the store to get it serviced, and the service, the people that worked at the AT&T,
yes, sir.
they were laughing because of how
Wow.
my iPad.
Remember the violin I was playing before, Miles? It's back. It's back. This guy, man, I'm feeling so sorry for you on that iPad. I'll do better.
When you send it to my cell phone, we have never had a problem with all of this, and I had to keep going in and out because I don't know. I could hear y'all perfect.
It's all good.
Y'all couldn't hear.
We're having fun. Guys, get some rest. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Take it easy.